We are live. Welcome back, everybody, here to the All Elite Breakdown. We have missed the last 2 weeks, but I'm your host, Hunter Chambers. That is my co-host, Kirby French. How's it going, man?
Doing good. I just got this
Hell
crazy
yeah.
mail a couple of days ago, and
Nice.
I just finished Rampage like right before I left work on the way back home. So it's
Nice,
fresh.
nice. And our special guest, the Painmaker, Ryan Payne. How's it going, man?
Going pretty good, actually. Honestly, with Dynamite and Rampage, they were they're both so good. I did rewatch a couple of matches, but I have to admit, this is definitely one of the best weeks AEW in top form. I mean, not saying that they've had a bad show, some hit or misses, but so far this whole month of October, I've just been feeling very positive every time I'm watching Dynamite and Rampage.
I definitely agree. So let's do a kickoff with AEW Dynamite 10/27/21. We begin with our opening contest, which is CM Punk taking on Bobby Fish. Just a few notes here. Punk hits a tope suicide on the outside, sending Fish to the barricade. Punk rolls Fish back in, goes for a diving elbow drop. Fish rolls outside and then kicks his knee, makes Punk crash on the apron. Pretty much this entire match is focusing on the knees and the legs of Punk, with a lot of like dragon screws, kick to the knees. Towards the middle of the match, both Punk and Fish are trading forearms back and forth. Punk hits a one-legged elbow drop, which I almost was like scared because I was like, please do not fall. Punk has the advantage with multiple forearms, and then Fish kicks the inside of Punk's hurt knee, which buckles him. Punk goes for the GTS, but Fish counters into a dragon screw. Fish goes for the guillotine, but Punk counters into the GTS for the win. So, Kirby, I'll start with you. What do you think about this opening contest?
So, okay, here's the thing. I got the shirt. I'm obviously a big CM Punk fan. That being said, I don't know if this match needed to happen. It seemed kind of random and like didn't really lead to anything. I feel like you could have. I think I would have rather have seen a women's match open the show, since we only got one other women's match in the entire show, I believe. And I feel like one of the big criticisms people have on AEW is the women's division. So I think that you could have kind of used this. You could have given them this time. I mean, that being said, it was a fine match. I don't feel that strongly about Bobby Fish one way or the other. I think he's good. I don't really know if he has much of a character in AEW yet, but I mean, that'll time will tell with that, I guess.
I'm more on that line that time will tell at this point. It's kind of like right now with CM Punk. The moment he came back, of course, when he came back, obviously the big fanfare, but the moment the build-up for his match, everybody was starting to think what was going to happen for Punk. Was he going to go on the straight path to maybe fight for a world title, or was he just going to have like some big feuds? And while some people may be often, I like best example was in Philadelphia. He goes there to cut a promo. It was obvious to the crowd that they were half and half of Punk. So people wanted to see him wrestle. Others were just glad he was there. And even right now, amongst the blogs and forums, people are starting to get off this Punk train to where, like, when is Punk going to get serious? And I'm just one of the few that's going, Punk is serious.
Yeah.
Everyone keeps forgetting, like, he's 7 years away from wrestling. You can't really buckle your boots, strap in your boots, and wrestle at the same pace that you did. It wasn't like with Bryan Danielson or even with Bobby Fish. Those guys, before they were released from their contracts, they were at least wrestling either house shows or they were wrestling some on TV every now and then for either NXT or for SmackDown. So seeing Bryan Danielson come back, have the matches he's having, most people were expecting that with Punk, but it's just because people tend to forget, like with most athletes, or like not just athletes, but when you have a certain skill and then you walk away from it for a while, like you spend your whole life learning it, and then all of a sudden you decide to take a break, and what could have been maybe 4 to 6 months turns into 3 years or 4 years. You also want to invest in that skill again, like, I don't know, hiking or riding a bike, or like even when simply being a typist on a computer. you tend to forget when you don't have that muscle memory locked into you almost every day, you are rusty as hell. And with this match with Bobby Fish, it does show that CM Punk is still rusty around the areas because this match was mainly playing like an old school wrestling match where you're mainly seeing the storytelling here. Bobby Fish, him using his MMA striking background in order to, attack CM Punk's knee, keep going after it. It's a good way to limit CM Punk but still have him wrestle at a pace to keep the fans entertained. Like, best example in his match against Daniel Garcia, even though it was a striking match, the most the wrestling moves that CM Punk did was body slams. And I like how Punk builds most of his arsenal around a body slam because while JR, Excalibur, and Tony Schiavone and whoever, and sometimes Jericho or Taz, they'll talk about CM Punk being a striker, watch his elbows, and they'll bring up and of course with the GTS. I like that he just throws a regular body slam to the point if you did not see when he throws those body slams, the crowd was into it actually.
Yeah. They were chanting one more time.
One more time.
Sorry, I like what Punk has been doing. I just feel like with Rampage, they're like seemingly gearing him towards a feud with Eddie Kingston.
Yeah.
So this just kind of felt like a throwaway match that I feel like you could have used to like showcase sort of the other wrestlers who don't get the spotlight as often. Is all I'm saying.
I will say though, this does have. I like how they're tying this in to finish up the story from last week. With was it Bobby Fish versus
Anthony Green? Yeah.
Anthony Green, where Fish just kept striking him and kept beating him down after the match, and Punk came out and was like, "What the hell are you doing?" Like, kind of showing that like Fish is kind of teetering on going over the line of like wanting to injure people, and Punk like, no, there's no need for that, which leads to this match here on Dynamite.
Also, I do see your point there, Kirby.
I do too,
Bobby
definitely.
back. I'm not saying I'm trying to deviate from it, but with Bobby Fish, when he came back, he makes a big impression by debuting against Sammy Guevara. Then he has a great match against Daniel Bryanson, and then looking at how his other wins against Lee Moriarty and Anthony Green.
I think me and Kirby just caught that.
Yeah, you said Daniel
Bryanson.
Oh, Bryan Danielson. You
smushed both names together.
Yeah, I'm still a little bit coming out of the whole him being Daniel Bryan, and
understandable.
Yeah.
But it's fine, honestly. Yeah, I'm still gonna have more slip-ups like that. But seeing the 4 matches he's had, building up the Punk, the opponents he's faced. I mean, with Anthony Green, it was clearly meant to be a squash match to build up Bobby Fish as a solidified heel because some people, I'll be honest, some people were unsure where Bobby Fish stood, looking at his match against Sammy and against Daniel Bryan, including with Bryan Danielson.
It's gonna happen.
I mean, looking at with Bryan Danielson, if you look at Danielson's matches, he's kind of, even though he's a babyface, you do see him have some heel tendencies in
he gets vicious. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm. Especially in his match against Dustin, especially when we're going to talk about against Eddie Kingston. It's more of like that match with Bobby Fish. You do see Danielson wants to be more, he wants to work like the way he used to in the independent scene. So him beating down Anthony Green was to solidify to the fans he's a heel. So when Punk came out, we were gonna get an old-fashioned babyface versus heel match. And I don't think this is over because if we all watched that match, the moment Punk did that little mid carry into like a nice transition to the GTS, there was some time they took the pin, and that 1-2 kicks out right after the 3.
Right after the 3, yeah.
It was like a Hogan Warrior kick out.
Yeah, it did.
Everyone online is talking about, was that a fuck up on Fish's part? I think it was intentional. I think they did that one to protect Fish, 2 to make him look good, and 3 because now Fish has a way to be like, oh, you didn't technically beat me. I kicked out. And then he's got that whole heel.
Nobody looked confused or anything. No. Like it did seem like that was supposed to happen. And maybe he'll come out and cause an interference in the Eddie Kingston match, and that story will continue. So maybe it wasn't just like a random like one-off thing. So I mean, yeah.
And
I guess,
also, I mean, looking at the time it took from Punk to get back to roll over to cover
Yeah.
Fish. If Fish had not kicked out about that, he did not kick out. I'm pretty sure there would have been some marks going to forums saying that, oh, looks like Fish was buried against Punk to make him look good. No, I kind of like the fact he kicks out right after the ref hits that 3 and brings his hand up, because like what Hunter said, we're going to get most likely another match down the road, possibly when Punk is more like his body is more conditioned in the ring to where we can see him go much longer.
Yeah.
And also, I see Fish forming an alliance down the road. He's going to form an alliance with a group.
Interesting.
maybe the Elite is too obvious. Maybe it's
Yeah,
something,
the Elite's way too obvious.
maybe like the Pinnacle or something.
Honestly, after that conversation between, we're not actually. I don't want to jump too much into Rampage, but I do have a feeling that we may see a new trio faction form, or he may just align himself with Andrade and Malachi.
Black.
Yeah.
I
That'd
do want
be
to see
interesting.
Malachi Black lead a faction really bad. I want to see House of Black.
Dude,
like
the House of Black.
Yeah, exactly.
It's incredible.
He keeps talking about it. I want to see it as a full-on just murder faction.
I mean, listening to him on Twitch when he talked about the character he wanted to make on SmackDown to what to the character ideas he put into his new character for Malachi Black, they are incredible, and I love that what he is doing with it. It feels like this is what he wanted to do when he was Aleister Black in NXT, but because the higher brass said, "Oh no, you're a face," he just goes, "Okay, he can still be the same character. He just had to change his mannerisms."
Yeah, he named himself Aleister Black out of, what is it? Aleister
Crowley, I believe. Yeah.
Crowley. Yes. Pretty much a cult leader. So,
yeah. And the thing is, with his time in NXT, the problem with that was even when he was NXT champion, he was like being overshadowed by Gargano and Ciampa.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right, so
and even the matches he was given weren't helping him as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. So before we get too off topic, we should go ahead and move on to the next match. Not going to be long. I have no notes on this one. MJF versus Bryce Donovan literally goes 2 minutes.
It wasn't even a match.
Sends him in his shoulder. Sends Donovan's shoulder into the corner. Hits a heat seeker for the win. And as Excalibur on commentary says, well, that's his quota for the year.
This is perfect.
Love it.
My big AEW hot take is that I have not been impressed with MJF. I think that his heel promos are like grabbing the lowest hanging fruit possible. However, what the stuff that I do see like potential in is when he talks about like, because he had some interview about where he mentioned Roman Reigns, and he said something like, oh, I might want to work there someday. So if his character becomes guy who would rather be in WWE, that'd be fucking
pretty much
genius.
CM Punk circa 2006 when he literally signed his WWE contract at a Ring of Honor show.
Yeah, but okay, except MJF doesn't actually go to WWE. He just keeps talking about how much he'd rather be there. That would be fun, I think.
See, that's where I kind of disagree with you. And that's why I love MJF. It's because he is the ultimate fucking troll. He takes every single heel promo that everyone has done and he redoes them, but it's in that like smug asshole type way that he does get heat, and it's not go away heat or anything. It's general like heel heat that he's getting because yes, you know, you're supposed to hate him, and I do hate him, and a lot of people do hate him, but his promos captivate the audience to want to see what he has to say. How dickish can this guy be? To me, it draws more attention that way.
Yeah, I mean, I'm fully aware that like I'm in the minority, but I just kind of get bored. Like, oh, he said he banged their moms. Okay, like I never like.
But it's a good minority that you're in, honestly, because it keeps. I think it keeps the whole the balance to it, because not everyone will be in love with MJF. Because me, no. I'm back and forth on him. Sometimes I see him, he's fire hot. Other times I'm going, like that Excalibur comment, he's just here for his quota for the day. which is why whenever I see him on Dynamite, it's pretty much like the Game of Thrones reference. You flip a coin in the air and see what happens. I flip a coin. Oh, he's gonna wrestle? Nope. He's here to do a promo or to pretty much do make the
But I
pinnacle
mean,
look good.
I also do like that because they're using MJF as pretty much a heat magnet leading towards pay-per-views. So you don't want him on TV weekly. You just want him there to kind of move whatever storyline that's leading to the next pay-per-view. Like, I love what he's doing with Darby. I love the storyline that he has going on with Darby. And because, one, they actually acknowledge, other promotions, and they acknowledge the history that they have that's literally gone through since they debuted together. So it's just like, you have that history to work with, and you've got, this is like, 2 or 3 months before Full Gear at the time when they started this. So you had time to kind of build up a really cool story.
Yeah, I do think that is an interesting foundation for a feud with like MJF talking about like the pillars of AEW and how Darby Allin's the only one that he hasn't beat. I think that's like in line for a pretty good story, good feud.
And it makes, and even storyline wise, it makes the most logical sense as well. Knowing the fact that they both came around the company around the same time. Darby, although MJF was there much earlier, but Darby was the one who got that his debut match against Cody at Fyter Fest pretty much set him apart from MJF. And it's kind of funny how they're similar. Like, Darby Allin gets over because of Cody. MJF becomes the biggest fucking heel in the world because of his betrayal of Cody. And you see that Darby didn't become a champion because of Cody, but MJF's biggest win is over Cody. So there are so many alignments there to where MJF, he aligns himself at a temporary alliance with Jericho, a living legend. Darby Allin gets Sting, one of the greatest wrestlers in my mind, as his coach, his backup. You really do see that both of these two men are walking the same path. So this match between them makes even more sense.
See, I like everything you're saying, which is why I get annoyed when the feud is, oh, your uncle died, haha. Like, that's my issue with it, is that you have all of this history that you can work on, and instead you're focusing on a dead relative.
Yeah.
See,
that's less interesting to me.
I don't think the storyline was, at least to me, I didn't see it like based around the uncle or whatever. What I see, and what I think they're trying to go for, is MJF is always the guy who pushes the boundaries. But with someone like Darby, as he said, no matter what you say to me, MJF, you're not going to break me mentally like you do everybody else. You bring up everyone's families, you bring up this and that. So yeah, you bring up my uncle, but it's not going to affect me mentally.
Yeah,
it's not going to break
mentally.
And I will add on to 100% because if you look at MJF's past feuds, especially starting off with Cody, MJF used every hot button on Cody to push with his wife, his family, even with the company itself. Like MJF's big button. Oh, you tried to keep me under your thumb, or with Jericho,
and it cost him. It cost him the match against. It cost Cody the match.
Yeah, and also when he was going for the world title against Moxley, he tried to take away Moxley's move of the paradigm shift. He tried to use every trick in the book in order to get over Moxley. That didn't work. And then when he aligned himself with Jericho, what was the whole thing? After he starts the Pinnacle, that promo he cuts, Jericho's the dinner debonair, the dinner debonair. That was the most I can't remember the exact promo he said, but he said that promo. Even then, I was carrying you through not just the talking, but also through the singing. MJF always tries to find one way to get under people, and then we had him having go 3-0 over Jericho, to where we had that match between them All Out. So Darby Allin telling MJF, who was able to get under everybody's skin, including, let's not forget, his match, the build-up between him and Brian Pillman Jr., where he insulted Brian Pillman's family right there on ringside. And trust me, this does not disregard everything you said, Kirby. It still validates that. But because me right now, I'm getting more and more when it comes to wrestling. I'm becoming more and more invested in how you tell the story. And seeing with MJF, yes, when it comes to Darby, when he says that, you won't break me mentally and physically, and MJF's response was to leave because he knew he wasn't going to win, that showed that MJF was going to have to change tactics, and then we see what he does. Pinnacle attacks Darby Allin. Then Sean Spears and Wardlow beat down Sting and taunt Darby Allin while he's at home. And then when MJF gets on that microphone on this past Dynamite, he does the same thing. And then he does the freaking Shawn Michaels move where Sting music plays.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody goes lose their shit, and then Darby just goes, ha ha.
MJF just like dies. And then the funniest part of this one is it happens again, and MJF's like, good job, Spears. He goes, bro, that wasn't me.
And then we get the classic Darby home footage where a dude dressed, has a suit, MJF cut off face. God, I don't know who Darby hangs out with, but they must trust him a lot in order for him to do a drop kick on them on a freaking rock stage.
And then put him through a table.
Yes. Or maybe have them haul him in a dead body bag over a river.
Oh my god, the body bag spot just. But like Kirby, I completely respect your opinion on this. I see the storyline different than you do.
Yeah, for sure.
But I mean, I can also see how MJF kind of doing the same thing could rub someone the wrong way.
Yeah.
Or at least them not trying to add new layers to it. Like, because right now, the only other longest storyline I'm seeing with MJF is this tension between him and Wardlow. It's obvious they are definitely building to something between the two of them.
Yeah.
It's just, and even right now, we've been seeing Wardlow been confronting MJF even more. So possibly, maybe at Full Gear, we're either going to see Wardlow turn his back on MJF, or there's going to be a miscommunication spot to where it's going to start Wardlow turning on MJF, and then next year they turn him face, and it's going to be Wardlow versus the Pinnacle in that kind of situation.
Yeah, I'm definitely interested in that. I like where that's going for sure.
Yeah. All right, so let's move on. We spent a lot of time on this match that really happened. Like,
which was only 2 minutes. 1 minute.
we weren't talking about the match, though. Let's be honest.
But it is a fair critique and overall look at MJF's character, because what Kirby said. I mean, MJF, with his whole persona, MJF has been spending not a lot with AEW, but he's still with MLW, so he is going, like most wrestlers, going between different promotions. And as much as the behind the scenes stories have been heard about MJF, how he's becoming a locker room leader, and the fact he's 24 years old, he could have the option, if the contract was presented him from WWE, he could accept it. He's not really owed anything in AEW. They're pretty much like, you're welcome to come here, work on your character, become the megastar we believe you to be. And if you want to go try your luck there, go for it. I mean, there's already been some AEW stars that's gone to WWE, and
wait, not like,
I forget his name. Ben Carter. He had this great match during the 2020 when they were at Daly's Place, and then I see him on NXT UK, and then of course another notable Priscilla Kelly, who's now Gigi Dolan in NXT.
Is she with NXT?
Yes, she goes under the character name Gigi Dolan.
Yeah, she's with a faction with Mandy Rose.
Toxic Attraction with Mandy Rose.
Toxic Attraction.
Yeah.
I didn't know that was her.
Really?
Wow.
Yeah.
To be honest, I haven't seen a lot of Priscilla Kelly, so...
I mean, she only wrestled one or a few matches with AEW, though, but...
Correct me if I'm wrong. Like, she was, like, either currently with Darby or they broke up.
She was married to Darby, but then they divorced.
Okay.
Oh, I didn't know they're married.
They were... I learned they were married, I think, around 2019, and when I went on the Jericho cruise in 2020, she was on the cruise with Darby's, and then I think months later during the 2020 pandemic, that she posted on her Instagram that she and Darby had separated. She even had a photo of the papers showing that they separated, and that even though they're no longer married, she still says they have a good, close relationship.
Yeah,
it was just kind of, I think, the two of them, different lifestyles, or at least on the road for different wrestling promotions.
Yeah, because I was watching that, was it Chris Van Fleet show with Darby, and he talked about, I think that was when they were still together. I think that was around 2019-ish.
Yeah, they were definitely still together. They did a lot of interviews. They did at least a couple of interviews together. Or when
Darby has like one of the most interesting lives, man.
Yeah, he does. Listening
All
to his
right.
story about getting to wrestling is insane.
All
But we
right,
should
guys,
move on.
let's move on to the TNT Championship match. Champion Sammy Guevara taking on All Ego Ethan Page. Sammy sprints in the ring, hits 2 running knee strikes, and then a flying spaceman punch on the outside. The match officially begins as Sammy and Page trade forearms. Page hits a backdrop on Sammy on the top rope with Sammy landing back first. I love how that spot looked because Sammy is, so he's small, and then you just see his back just fucking like
Yeah,
crack
looking
on
at
the
his
ring
frame
post.
though, I mean, looking at it, looking at his body frame, you think someone of his size could be easily snapped by a twig by someone of Wardlow's size, but then seeing someone like Ethan Page do that back body drop or throw him against the apron or just have him being tossed around, you're expecting to see immediate welts on him because even though he has a slender frame and like, even though he's got like a good muscular size, you just think that if he gets chopped, you're immediately going to see red marks.
Definitely. Sammy fights back with a great double springboard cutter and then a Spanish fly and then a shooting star press on a standing Page to the outside of the ring. Page fights with Sammy on the top rope and hits a top rope body slam. He just fucking like tosses him from the top rope.
Yeah.
That's definitely a show off of Sammy's mobility and his agility and mobility. The fact that Ethan could do something like that off the rope.
Definitely. Then turns him around with a massive shoulder tackle. Sammy counters the top rope Ego's edge with a Hurricanrana, goes for the standing shooting star. Page moves out of the way. Goes for the Ego's edge, but Sammy counters into a jackknife pin for the win.
Those constant that counter to the Hurricanrana though, I was slightly a little worried that there might be some miscommunication because for the Ego's edge, because I remember him I think on a previous AEW match, Ethan wanted to do that on I think it was him when it was Darby, and Darby was trying to do a reverse into that crucifix bomb. It almost looked, I think it was Darby, or maybe this was a different promotion that Ethan and Darby fought because they fought in so many different promotions against each other. But just knowing what the Ego's edge, I mean, when it was the Razor's Edge or so, just that move itself, if it's not done, if you're playing that that moment where the wrestler reverses out of it, either it's going to be a Frankensteiner or a crucifix bomb or Hurricanrana. You really have to work very well on the timing and the coordination because I'm not saying it's easy to get injured. It's just one slip up and the crowd will easily can tell the botch coming from a mile away.
Yeah. When he set him up, I could sort of tell like, oh, they're probably going to try to go for a Hurricanrana reversal. I don't know how well this is going to work. Yeah. And then they pulled it off pretty fucking well.
Well, I mean,
more congrats.
Sammy and Ethan are actually friends in real life, so they have that, and they wrestle so many times, they have that great in-ring chemistry with each other that you could tell that Ethan trusted Sammy to be able to pull this spot off with, pretty much no hesitation.
Yeah. I know.
And that's the problem. You have to, when doing that move, you cannot have any hesitation. You just have to do it.
Oh, yeah, for sure. But yeah, I know I was critical of the past couple matches. This match rules. No complaints here. This kicked ass.
Yeah, it was a great match. All right, if everyone's ready, we will go into.
Well, let's not forget after the match. Sammy gets the win. Scorpio Sky comes out. They attack him. Then the Inner Circle.
Love the fact that Jericho has pyro for a rescue save.
I think it's because it's been a while since the whole Inner Circle group's been together. So when Jericho always comes out, there's pyro.
It looks like someone almost ran into the pyro. It looks like.
Yeah, it was weird.
Yeah.
I don't know. I love it. I love the fact that Jericho's like, if I'm saving someone, damn it, I'm having pyro.
Calm down, Cody. All right. Yeah, I'm excited for that 10-man tag match.
That's gonna be insane. Which I probably can already see who they're going to pick as one of the members of American Top Team. It's going to be Dan Lambert.
That worries me a little bit. I know it feels.
They're not going to let Dan wrestle.
I know
I'm
they're
just saying,
not.
like, he's going to be a part of the match.
But
No,
then
I
it's
know. Like he's most, if he is going to be part of it, he's most likely going to have these moments where he's backed in the corner looking scared, but then he gets saved, or he's going to try to get cocky, throw a punch, and realize it's not going to work. I understand that. I'm just worried on how they're going to try to achieve it.
because then you have like the baby faces have like an unfair advantage, and that's weird to book.
Well, also, I mean, you could also say it like Dan Lambert started all this by coming to AEW to begin with and shitting on the crowd. Now
Yeah,
this is the baby faces just being like, hey, you want to talk all this shit to us? Step in the ring and see what we actually can do.
Yeah, I mean, also he's going to have, if it's going to be Sky and Page, it's clear we're going to have some MMA fighters in there. So
I'm thinking more than likely it's going to be Junior Dos Santos, considering he
You
had
know-
a match.
You know what? If Adam Lambert is it, something that I've been thinking and I've been hoping would happen for a while is for Jake Hager to turn heel and join Dan Lambert.
I could see that.
I've heard some
So
people
maybe
want
you-
Jake to turn heel.
Yeah, maybe you go in like, oh, well, of course Inner Circle's going to win. They're fighting 4 guys plus Dan Lambert, and then Jake Hager turns heel and then just completely switches the dynamic, costing the Inner Circle the match.
And then you could do a Jericho and Hager feud.
Yeah, for sure.
Because then you have that history with them to kind of build off of as well.
Jake Hager as a face just doesn't feel right to me.
Well, I think with Jake Hager though, I think it was even clear in WWE that he just wasn't that strong on the mic, where they just weren't working well with him enough to it. With Jericho though,
Jericho being the mouthpiece helps.
Yeah, no, not just Jericho the mouthpiece, but also Jericho having Jake throw in a word or two every now and then, like, do what you do best. Be the badass that you are, and when you throw a word in there, go for it. Because Jake, when he's all hopped up and excited, and he just jump, and then he gives the attitude like, I'm just gonna say something without consequence. I do like that moment of him, and it kind of. I'm not saying he was a face when Wardlow and MJF were part of him, but I did like the back and forth that he and Wardlow had. Like, this guy keeps staring at me. What are you talking about? You're staring at me. You know, like I liked that, but I'm also looking for the rubber match between those two guys, Wardlow and MJF. I mean, Wardlow and Jake Hager.
Yeah, I also feel like if you want to turn Hager heel, there's not really a better time to do it than when Dan Lambert is your mouthpiece.
Exactly.
Lambert, give him credit. He loves pro wrestling. He's already said this.
Oh, without a doubt. I
his work in Impact has shown that.
Yeah, I liked what he did in Impact with Bobby Lashley. So
yeah,
I know
and dude, you can literally do the same thing. Have Hager be his Bobby Lashley. An amateur wrestler who, let's be honest, Lashley's not that good on the mic. But Lambert by his side made him a badass.
Definitely.
All right, so let's move on to what might be my favorite match over both nights. The TBS Championship Tournament Round 1, Serena Deeb taking on Hikaru Shida.
This was so good.
This was amazing.
From 3 weeks ago. I definitely liked it, and I loved that they added an extra weight into this round 1 match. Not to say all the other round matches, but when I saw the bracket set up and I saw that Serena and Hikaru were going to face each other, I'm going, oh, this match I am looking forward to in round 1. Like, the 4 round 1 matches, this was my number 1 to look forward to. And then my second was going to be Anna and Jamie Hayter. And then it was a tie with Ruby Soho, Penelope Ford, and then the Bunny and Red Velvet. But this was my number 1 because that 50th match with Hikaru Shida, I like the story. You're seeing Serena show her technical ability as a wrestler, taking advantage of catching Hikaru when she was at her confidence. And when she started getting desperate, you saw her start getting more brutal in her attacks. Having Hikaru tap to lose the match said a lot, and then having her attack Hikaru afterwards.
By the way, love the use of Shida coming out with the 50th trophy, but it's broken.
Yeah.
It's
and then even like almost using it as a weapon.
Yeah,
which was really good.
So let's see. Sheeta misses a running kick in the corner, and Deep hits a running chop block, again targeting the knees, targeting the legs for that Serenity lock. When we get back from picture in picture, Sheeta's laying forearm strikes and then elbow strike on the corner. Sheeta hits an axe kick to the back of Deep's head, and then a straight jacket German. Sheeta hits a running knee to the back of the head of Deep, who kicks out. She goes for the Falcon Arrow, but her knees give out, and Deep picks the ankles of Sheeta into a dragon screw leg whip. Sheeta fights back, hits a drop kick off the stairs on the outside. She gets tripped by Deep and who locks in the figure four in the ring post. Great Bret Hart spot. He's also wearing the
colors.
The pink and black. Bret Hart.
I do also want to go back before the picture in picture. I did like how we are seeing Hikaru just lit a flame, just attacking Serena, not giving her a shred, any spot to breathe. I even like when she threw her out there, and then when Aubrey's making those counts, she stopped her right at 7, going like, "Nope, this is not how it's gonna end." She grabs Deep, throws her onto that ring post, and then does that elevated suplex back into the ring. I like that because for a while after she lost the title, Hikaru had definitely been floating around a little bit. So when they were giving her this new attitude and edge, I thought they were going to turn her heel. But then when we see in this match her 50th, I'm like, okay, she's still a face, but she's a face with attitude. And I like how, even though she's not saying things out loud, I can see in her facial expressions how serious and how much she wants to hurt Serena.
Which is what I love about AEW is there really aren't traditional faces and heels anymore. Like Serena is definitely a heel, and you can tell she's trying to play the heel role. But with someone like Sheeta, she's a good the face, but she's not gonna be all cookie cutter like. You know what I mean? She's gonna have some edge and attitude to her character as well.
Exactly.
So let's see. Deep tries to hit Sheeta with a 50th trophy, but Sheeta gets it from her and thinks about hitting Deep with it while the ref is putting the trophy outside. Deep rakes Sheeta's eyes and almost wins the roll. I really thought Deep was going to win off of this.
I thought that was it for sure.
I was wondering that too, especially because unfortunately I'm not saying unfortunate, but one thing with AEW, when it comes to pairings, we can never tell exactly what we're going to get out of this match. And I like how the variety we've gotten. Sometimes even though we majorly get babyface versus heel, I do like how most of the time, sometimes we will get heel versus heel and then babyface versus babyface. And I like how there is no formula on how they're going to pair off their opponents. So when I saw that bracket, I'm going, a heel has to win one of these round 1 matches. But so far we've only seen 2, with Ruby winning and with Hikaru winning. It makes me even more excited now with Anna Jay and Jamie Hayter happening next week, along with the Bunny and Red Velvet, how those are going to turn out.
Yeah, definitely. Let's see. Sheeta blocks the Detox into a stack pin for the win.
Yeah. But then afterwards, Serena beats her down.
Yeah. By the way, someone mentioned this on Twitter. You do have CM Punk and Serena Deeb in the same company once again. Straight Edge Society reunion, baby.
I mean, hell, Luke Gallows is there too. Yeah.
Well,
so you just...
Yeah.
Well, not anymore. The Impact deal ended apparently.
Really?
Oh.
Yeah. With Bound for Glory, that was the end of the Impact AEW partnership.
Oh,
that sucks.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, for a while there, all 3 of them were there.
Yeah. All right, so let's move on to another. Sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say, I'm pretty sure even if the brothers lose the Impact Championship, I think they'd still be willing to make appearances at AEW.
Yeah, it's probably like how it is here in AEW, where it's like if you want to go wrestle somewhere, you can. Impact's doing the same thing. They have, AAA. They have partnerships with New Japan as well.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
They can probably just send talent each and every way they want to go.
Yeah, and most recently at their Impact taping, they just had Minoru Suzuki just show up. So.
Oh right, yeah. Suzuki's just doing what the fuck ever at this point. He's like
Murder Grandpa Legend Tour.
Yeah,
let's do it. Yeah. All right, guys. A surprising squash match here. World Championship Eliminator John Moxley versus 10.
Did 10
Preston
fuck
Vance.
John Moxley's wife or something? Did he sleep with Renee? What did he do? Moxley just murdered him for no reason.
I literally have 2 notes on this. Moxley starts the match with a German. Mox sends 10 to the outside. Sends it face first to the steps. Tears his mask and bites his head. 10 is now bleeding. 10 tries to fight back with a pump kick. In the corner. Moxley takes it. Comes back with a close on the Paradise Shift for the win.
What did 10 do to deserve that?
By the way, I heard someone online say that this might be slowly turning Moxley heel, especially considering his next match with Orange Cassidy.
Well,
I mean, he definitely wasn't being nice. I can tell you that.
Well, I mean, before the match, Moxley did drop that promo to where he said nothing in this company matters to him. Like, he would have, like he says, like, everyone's expecting me to take this seriously, you know, to want to get the championship match that I technically never, that was taken from me. But then I like how he talks about when he had his daughter and his daughter just grabbed his broken pinky. And I like his motivation. He's only there just so he can go home with his family. And he just says, I'm not apologizing, but I'm like, but sorry to whoever's in my way. I'm going to run through you. And we do see that. I like how it pays off his promo, even though it's at the expense of 10, who has been making great strides in as a wrestler. It was just this moment to where I think some matches these tournament matches needed a surprise. Because, like, yeah, this was really after Serena and Hikaru. I'm not gonna say they couldn't tear the house down, but after that great women's match, I think we needed at least a change there. And
yeah, but I also like the fact that, sadly, I love Preston Vance, I love 10. You see this matchup, you know what it's gonna be. You know Moxley's gonna win. Yeah. I like the fact that they're like, Moxley's pissed off. He doesn't have time to play. He wants to get home. He walks in there, gets his job done, and walks out.
But even then, he beats him down before that bell. He does tear that mask. So when it does ring, I like where in the story, they do say that Preston is attacking because Moxley gave him too much room to breathe after that bell ring. But even then, the damage was already done with the mask being torn off. So he's partially blinded and bleeding a little bit. This is kind of like one of the rare instances where 10 is put in a situation he is unfamiliar with.
Yeah. He's literally, like, there's literally blood in the water, and Moxley's the shark.
Yeah, if Moxley continues this whole, like, I don't care about any of this, I want to get home to my family, if they use, like, the family man trope as, like, a vicious heel, I think that'd be pretty fun.
That could be fucking amazing.
I think that's interesting.
I agree with you. I like that.
Yeah. Like, literally.
It's always like, I'm here for my family, I'm the good guy. It's like, I'm here for my family, I'll fucking kill everyone else.
I'll fucking kill everyone here.
If they do that approach, I like that. And you know what? I'm gonna jump to something I referenced earlier on with Bobby Fish and Punk. What I was gonna say was after, and this is gonna be a jump into with Rampage. After Eddie Kingston's little collision with CM Punk backstage, which is telling a Punk in versus Eddie Kingston match, it does look to me that this tournament is showing that Moxley and Kingston, their attitudes are changing. From when they started off at the top of the year, they were baby faces. It's more of, oh, we're just gonna fight and then have a drink later on, to where they get more vicious in their fights. Like because the biggest tell is their entrances. Even though Moxley and Kingston came out together, when you did see them come out through the crowd, it was always like they would come out, stare around the crowd a little bit, wait for the crowd to get ready to do wild thing, and then head to the ring. But then every Rampage or Dynamite, you see them come out together through Moxley's music. They are just beelining it to the ring, and they'll kick shit on the way. And even Kingston showed that in his match against Bryan Danielson, but we're not going to talk about that yet. Which is why I believe that if those two do turn heel, that is who I think Bobby Fish will align himself with to form a new trio group. And because all three of them are strikers, they're dangerous men, and they're there to fight. I would like to see a vicious kind of stable.
Oh, wait. So you're saying a heel faction with Moxley, Kingston, and Fish?
Yes.
Hell yes.
Yeah, with the rumors of introducing trios belts too, I think that
Dude,
tracks of them wanting
that
to
is
build more
gonna
trios
be
teams.
just call it Murder Inc. and just fucking murder everyone.
I'm pretty sure the announcers will think of a tagline to it. But even then, yeah. Like after Moxley just beats the shit out of 10, what happens? He just kicks a guardrail aside and leaves.
And then leaves. Like no promo, no celebrating. He just like fuck everybody. I'm going back. I'm going straight to the back.
Yeah. I mean, that's where I see in my mind where it might go. They may not exactly pull that trigger, but I still do see that Moxley and Kingston, they're becoming more and more vicious, and having a third man in their group would work.
I wonder.
Yeah, and this is why I doubt that Moxley is winning this tournament.
Oh, yeah, I don't think he's going to either. I mean, especially either he is going to beat Orange Cassidy or
unless because I don't know if you guys have seen the apparent Full Gear leaks. That
I don't pay attention to that because they could still change it.
So I'm not going to say anything then, but how am I going to say this without spoiling anything? I feel like I don't know, they could pull the trigger on Moxley winning this tournament, having Hangman win the title off Omega, and then do a face versus heel, Moxley versus Hangman for the title.
Yeah.
It was kind of teased when Hangman made his return on Dynamite because when Hangman came back, even though everyone was cheering for Moxley, the moment Hangman went to the ring, we saw the crowd immediately turn more towards Hangman. But I think that was because he was gone for a while.
Mm-hmm.
But even then, that crowd fanfare hasn't gone away.
So, I mean, it is possible.
If they do that trios, and they sort of like, if Punk is their first target, do you think they're going to give Punk a couple guys to form a trios team? That'd be pretty cool.
I think it would probably be...
I mean, since the Impact deal did fall apart, but Christian is still working with both AEW and Impact. Oh, no, wait, he's no longer the champion. Sorry. So he's back at AEW.
Yeah.
I was going to say, I thought Christian was still going to work with Impact to where maybe Jungle Boy Luchasaurus would be teaming with Punk. But no, I think but to build on what you're saying, if Punk is their first victim in this proposed trio of Moxley, Fish, and Kingston, I think it would be maybe work to find new stars, some AEW established stars, and have them work with Punk. I mean, it's going to be difficult because so far we have not seen many of them. So far out of face factions, or at least face groups, we have Jurassic Express, Dark Order, Best Friends, which is Orange Cassidy, Chuck Taylor, Trent whenever he returns, and Wheeler Yuta.
Yeah.
And those are the only three I can think of. I know there's more probably through Dark and all that, but at least from what we see on taping of Dynamite, those are the three biggest of the face groups.
Yeah, I was thinking maybe Punk and then Dante Martin and his partner, but it kind of seems like they might be positioning Dante Martin to turn heel with him being allied with
I have an idea, but I don't know what the contracts would look like. I would say it now this would be fun if you could get the contracts to work out correctly.
Mm-hmm.
Have Moxley, Kingston, and Fish taking on why am I blanking? Hold on. Punk, Lance Archer, and Minoru Suzuki.
Oh, Suzuki gun with Punk. Okay.
Because the cool thing about that is now the dynamics are flipped.
Yeah, do sort of like a double turn with
where Moxley comes out, they beat down Punk, all of a sudden, Suzuki's entrance theme hits, and then Moxley kind of slides out of the ring. There's tension. He's kind of worried. And now you got that kind of, now Fish is in the mix. Now you get like Fish and Archer, or Fish and Suzuki. You get Punk teaming with Suzuki and Archer. You get that dynamic going on. That could be very intriguing.
Can you imagine telling someone 5 years ago, like, oh yeah, imagine Punk teaming with Suzuki?
Oh my god, yeah.
God, now I want to see it.
Yeah,
that would be the hardest thing to get for anyone to stomach. But I would actually like that.
5 years ago, if someone told me Punk was returning to the ring, I'd be like, "You're crazy."
Yeah, for sure.
Like, why would he go back to WWE? And then like, oh, he's not going back to WWE. The Ring of Honor's not going to pay him the money he's going to want.
No. All right, so let's move on to the main event. The Elite taking on the Dark Order. No, hold on. Sorry, I forgot. I do have a Cody Rhodes promo written down right here.
That's right. Cody Rhodes, talks about
This is a very intriguing promo because I have in my notes, I says, Cody says he'll never turn because he loves the fans. In parentheses, this is definitely a heel turn coming.
I don't think it's coming. I think it's here. I think this is some
almost like a Kurt Angle in 1999 thing where he thinks he's the good guy.
Yeah, but even to like even more of an extent where it's like even Bo Dallas was like he'd be like, I'm the good guy, but he'd be so overly obnoxious about it. This thing with Cody, it feels like some like abstract postmodern heel turn, and I'm pretty into it, to be honest. If this is unintentional and he's genuinely saying like, no, I'm not a heel, then it's sad. But if it's all part of the plan and he's gonna go forward, and because that's the thing, if you just turn him heel, well then he's over as a heel. But if you keep him the way he is now, he's gonna get booed more and more and more, and it's gonna make the people that he faces like look better and better and better because they're gonna get more and more.
Which is kind of sad that wrestling fans are like this in a way, because now they have to be like, they have to kind of trick the wrestling fans to hate somebody, and you're just like, why can't it be this simple?
That's what I think they're doing. I think they're playing like 5D chess with the fans to not turn Cody heel, but also turn him heel, but also the fans think he's not a heel.
So they boo him. They boo him, so he is a heel.
Yeah.
I think, and Hunter, I do wish it was kind of simple like that. But the fact with the fans that AEW is trying, or are part that AEW is, investing their time in. These are fans, unfortunately. These are fans, good or bad, who, like us, will read the dirt sheets that will do maybe not smart marks, but kind of more of like they want to believe that they're smart marks, but ultimately they're just fooling themselves because, we know he's a good guy because we watch him on his YouTube vlogs, or like with Cody, he's got himself a reality show on TNT, so it's kind of like, there's a reason why he can't become a heel. I'm going, none of this stuff matters. I mean, WWE had total divas, and you had heels and faces on there behind the scenes, so it really didn't matter about that.
Which is very intriguing about Road to the Top. I'm not sure, is that canonically a part of the storylines or not?
That scratches my head. That does scratch my head. Like, you'll see Road to the Top. It's pretty much mostly everything that was happening during 2020, but then you'll cut to a promo happening right now of a Dynamite or a Rampage match.
That doesn't bother me. Like, the thing I'm talking about is, are they going to use this to make Cody into a heel? Because they had a whole episode of Road to the Top where Cody's like, I'm never turning heel. And Brandy wants to come back as a heel. And she even has a promo on Cody where she's like, you got to give the people what they want. If they think I'm a bitch, I'm going to act like a bitch.
I think that's exactly what that's what I'm saying. I think it's some like next level 5D chess heel turn.
I do believe a turn is coming. It's just right now I don't think Cody, because I think Malachi Black, and he had a promo earlier on talking about the win and loss against Cody didn't matter because when he showed up, he turned the crowd against him. He turned his family against him.
And he did.
Broke the Nightmare family, which works. It made Aleister Black look stronger in losing than he did in winning. And this is even better because when I saw that promo, it reminded me of when he was Aleister Black in NXT in his feud against Velveteen Dream, where Dream wanted Aleister to say, he just wanted Aleister to say his name and Aleister refused. It wasn't until Aleister had beat him or kicked the teeth out of his throat at an NXT War Games match. He says his name, and Velveteen Dream, even though he lost, he still comes out looking the winner because Aleister Black said his name. Yeah. That's where I felt with Malachi. Yes, you won the third time, but look what happened to push you to beat me. And I like how he ends with the house always wins.
I do want to, because we did miss the last few weeks, I do want to get your guys' thoughts on Cody winning the third match. I think I asked Ryan about this via text message.
You did.
This is why sometimes I love wrestling fans and sometimes I fucking hate wrestling fans. because they're stuck in this WWE mindset of a person losing and they're equally buried. When they don't look at the overarching storyline of Black not only beat Cody twice, he definitively beat him 2 times in a row. And Cody won the last match, but it wasn't really clean. Like, it wasn't really a clean victory. Like, it took everything for Cody to pin Black. And even then, Black still won because he turned the fans on him. He turned his own family against him. Everything works in this whole storyline.
Really quick, I feel like Black saying he turned the fans on Cody is a little bit revisionist history. Wasn't Cody being booed before Black got there anyway?
Not as bad.
It was in sporadic moments because, and I said this to
fans
Hunter
still,
in our
like,
text,
there were more cheers than boos.
Okay.
When Black came in and
back
he started
and
a feud with
forth.
Cody, that's when it started.
Okay. Because everyone was because the smart mark fans were terrified that Cody was going to beat Black and that was going to lead to Black being buried. And as a fan, I understand too from that WWE mindset. I mean, having grown sick and tired of watching wrestlers they will build for months and months, look defiant and strong to get over, and then all of a sudden it takes one match for them to look. They book them
Karrion Kross.
Not just Karrion Kross, but also sometimes I'm trying to think. Cesaro. They booked Cesaro very well to be the next challenger to Roman Reigns, only for him to lose, and then he flounders a little bit. Teams with Daniel Bryan, then he doesn't challenge again, and then Daniel Bryan loses, and guess what? He's in AEW, and then Cesaro is floating around. And also one of my biggest examples is Finn Balor. Years ago, when Finn Balor was on the main event roster before he went back to NXT, they booked him in this terrible feud with Bray Wyatt that was going to happen at No Mercy, but then the
Pumpkin Demon King?
Pumpkin Demon King versus Bray Wyatt's sister Abigail, yeah. But then Bray Wyatt and a few other wrestlers get the mumps. What happens? AJ Styles shows up. They tear the house down, have this great match. But then what happens on the Raw next? He gets squashed by Kane. One of my biggest examples to where Finn Balor, through maybe 48 hours notice, puts on a hell of a match against AJ Styles, proves to you that he can work in under 24-hour notice, and you still squash him to make a legend look great.
The fact that they didn't immediately rush into an AJ Styles Finn Balor feud will never fail to confuse me. I will never understand that. They had an amazing match for short notice. The fact that that's the only time they face each other. They never had it. They never.
That
went
still boggles my mind.
Yeah, it's crazy. But
it falls into their narrative. It's the narrative they want to create instead of like what Brandy said in Rose the Top. You gotta give the people what they want. And Vince is still like, and while Kirby, you're right, AEW is trying to play 3D chess, 5D chess with the fans. They're not trying to belittle them with like, we know better than you. It's like, no, guys, we understand what you want, but trust us, you're gonna love the journey instead of the destination. Well, Vince is more of like, I know the destination. I know where this is heading. I know it better than you guys. Don't worry about the journey as long as you love the finish. Like, you just sound like someone who thinks they're better at sex when you displease everybody every single time.
Damn.
But that's getting back to the Cody Rhodes Aleister Black thing. That's the thing. Like AEW, like they're very in tune with the fans and what the fans want because the company is run by a fan.
Yeah.
So the outrage that they got from Cody beating Black, I think, is exactly what they wanted. I think they wanted that outrage because they want that heat on Cody because he is becoming what a modern and future heel would look like in an era where everyone knows what's going on. Everybody knows
exactly.
Like if people are doing good heel work, they're like, oh, they're great. Like Roman Reigns, like he became a heel. He's doing great work. Everyone loves Roman Reigns. Everyone's on the same page for Roman Reigns. But with Cody, it's a completely different kind of heel where it's a heel to like we said, like the smart marks. And I think that could be a really interesting dynamic if they pull it off.
I wish the term buried wouldn't be used so damn often.
Oh, people drop the word buried
Because
like
because
fucking
people
anything.
because now the
They
word
dropped the word
people
buried
have
more than the
forgotten what
word
the word
cancel. Like
actually
PC is being
meant.
thrown around.
Because
Buried is
now
the
the word
wrestling fan
buried has
term for
been
PC.
yeah, because now the word buried has completely lost its meaning.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because Black wasn't buried because he lost to Cody once.
No.
Because Black had an incredible match that went 25 minutes with Cody Rhodes, a top star in the company, and he beat him twice.
And the 2 times they were in different fashions. He dismantled and destroyed Cody the first time. The second time, he manipulated Cody to where Arn Anderson had to change his attitude in order to get Cody back in general. That's why I like with AEW, even though some people are criticizing them for their long storytelling, you have to pay attention to their matches. If you really want to judge AEW, you have to take the time to invest yourself in their matches, either if it's on Dark Elevation, Dynamite, or Rampage. You have to see what story they're telling in the ring. Don't worry about which wrestler's going to come out on top. You have to sometimes focus on what's being told, because if you are invested and then you start buying into the fact that Malachi was going to go 3-0, but no, Cody comes out on top. If you can invest in that, really throw away your disbelief. You really would buy into the whole storyline of Cody trying to warm back to the audience. That's why I like the promo where he goes, "I'm not returning because I love you guys so much." There's a part of me that wants to believe that, but then
I just love that. I'm not turning because I love you guys so much. Boo!
I love it.
He's going. I love it before he says that. He goes, "I hear you, I understand you," and then he goes like, "You can boo and cheer whoever you want." And I'm going like, man, that feels like something that Michael Cole would say after a WrestleMania, although to a negative, connotation.
Yeah. So I do feel like there is an interesting route towards a heel turn if they wanted to do it. But I just wish fans would go along with the storylines, but I also understand that you're never gonna be able to control fans in general.
Yeah.
I mean, that's one of the downsides of them being so in tune. Like when you have a wrestler debut and you want them to be a heel, but if they're aware of this wrestler's past and how they've been and what their legacy and record is, it's going to be difficult to get behind that. Like when Andrade made his debut, people knew who he was, but it wasn't at that part to where it wasn't going to be hard to make him a heel. Now with Malachi, he shows up. You want him immediately to be a heel, but because everybody knows how bad he was fucked over, there's no chance the fans are going to boo him immediately. They're going to yell and cheer him.
Look at Adam Cole. Nobody boos Adam Cole.
No,
nobody.
They use the little Adam Cole baby thing with him. But
to be honest, no one can actually hate the Elite because they do shit like in our next match.
Yeah, but the thing about Adam Cole is that if he was an actual babyface, that would be fucking lame. Because he's such a good natural heel from an attitude perspective. But when he's a heel, he gets cheered. If he was a babyface, I guarantee you he would not get cheered nearly as much, which is
I also feel like
how you execute that. I think he can be a babyface, but just you have to write how he will be that babyface.
You have to give him a great story to work with, and that's why I think Adam Cole is playing the Elite from the inside. That's my whole theory. Because I feel like this shit's going to go back to when Cole left for NXT. The first thing that happened when he left was the Bucks super kicked him and embarrassed him on pay-per-view. So I feel like this shit's going to go back to 2016, 2017, where he's like, oh, I haven't forgotten what you guys did to me. I'm just going to play the coin.
Remember when he debuted at All Out? When he's in that ring before he does the Adam
Bucks
Cole
look scared.
But before he said that, he gets in the ring, he says, "You guys remember me?" And then he yells, "I know what you did to me. I know what you did before that turn happened."
And then the super kick to Jungle Boy. But they're teasing something. And I feel like when Omega loses the title, that's when Cole's going to strike. When Omega has nothing left.
Yeah.
That's possible. So can you
so-
segue into this main event?
Yeah.
Here?
Yeah.
I was gonna say, let's talk
The
about
Elite
this match.
versus the Dark Order. The first thing I have on my notes, the Elite come out dressed as Ghostbusters, and the Dark Order comes out as Kratos, a cowboy, a horse, and Bambi. Parentheses, God, I love wrestling.
Oh, and of course,
fucking-
Colt Cabana. Jesus Christ.
Oh my
I am
God.
so glad that I am looking at Colt Cabana's past, and I am so glad that I was on the Jericho cruise to see Colt Cabana do his comedy shows.
Yes.
They were incredible.
So, one of my favorite commentary lines is in this match. JR screaming, "Not the proton pack!"
the fucking proton pack. Yeah. The amount of times that the term proton pack.
Self-aware
was used in a
JR is
wrestling
the
match.
best JR.
Yes. I do like that. I like how they were. I really like how they transitioned JR on commentary to where he's being more of a commentator and play-by-play to where, like, dude, you know some of this stuff is ridiculous, right? Well, be self-aware about it. Let Excalibur be your play-by-play guy. Let Taz be the one to give you that wrestling insight. You just be
JR
you,
just
JR.
screaming about a proton pack is like the best thing ever.
It's so good.
Yeah. Like, I like the fact they're not letting JR apologize anymore for slip-ups. Like, when people were going to town on him for saying Jungle Jack Perry or talking about Britt Baker with her dental, because her history as a dentist, and going like, guys, JR, he's been in this business for over 20 years. You stuck up smug marks don't need to grill JR about this. Yeah, I'm not calling them smart marks because they're stuck up smug marks. Oh, this ain't a rant period. I like the time on here. This is just me making a comment on the fans.
No, but like, I also love how when JR does mess up, he acknowledges it. He's like, I fucked up. Why not?
Yeah.
He and Excalibur kind of take a jump on that too, and they're like, "Yeah, well, I mean, what are you gonna do?"
Yeah, I mean, like, I was watching. I don't remember what match it was, but JR slipped up and like Excalibur is right there. Oh, you meant this? No, I got you, man. It happens to everybody. I am not going to say all these notes because I have a lot of them, and we're over an hour right now.
So let's just jump into the meat of this whole thing. I did love the pairings. I did love the whole thing, like John Silver, like being the big heavy here. I like when Uno was in the ring. No matter how many times that hat was getting knocked off, he refused to keep wrestling until that hat was back on his head.
Evil Uno had to have that hat on. I fucking love it.
The best.
So yeah, as you said before, Matt Jackson in the corner gets hit with a clothesline by Stu, and then Uno hits a clothesline. Then Colt dresses Brandon Cutler, sprays him with the cold spray, and the triple body slam by the Dark Order. I love the use of the spray.
I still don't actually even know what that spray is. What's in it?
So in Japan, after a hard match, you'll see young boys put like ice or cold spray. It's to help with the muscles.
Yeah, when they're also tense up after a match, or prevent them.
They'll use the cold spray to loosen them up.
Does it?
Yeah,
burn
so they
your
can
eyes?
at least walk back. So they can at least walk to the locker room under the power.
Does it have shit in it that like burns your eyes?
I mean, it is one is extremely cold, and you're also very
actual
sensitive
cold
to begin with.
Yeah, actual cold spray. I'm pretty sure there would be some chemicals in it that you would not get near their eyes, but because this is Brandon Cutler, it's pretty much. I think it's just some simple aerosol water mist.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Why am I turning into the stuck up smug mark? I mean, I'm pretty much just saying, like, I know for them that, like, I love how they sell it as if their eyes are being burned from the inside and out.
Yes.
I love that.
So I'm just gonna skip to towards the end of the match. Silver tags in, hits an Instagari on Matt, a diving senton on the outside to Nick, an uppercut to Cole, a pump kick.
Uh-oh. We're losing.
Hunter, you're breaking up on us, man.
Hello?
Okay, he's back.
You're back, man. You were breaking up on us while you were giving us the breakdown.
How much of that did you hear?
All I just heard was pump kick and then nothing but just in and out.
Yeah.
All right, so Silver tags in, hits Ichigari and Matt, a diving senton on the outside to Nick, an uppercut to Cole, a pump kick on Omega, takes out Nakazawa, who's dressed as a giant ass baby. I love it. with a clothesline and then a running knee to Matt. I love when Silver just goes off and takes everybody outside with him.
Yeah. I think because of his size and the way how he moves himself, knowing the fact that they give him this moment where he's like he does like what Braun Strowman would do running around the ring. Instead, he's just more of like boom uppercut, boom a pump kick, suplex, German suplex, senton, and then runs back in the ring, just giving those little doing like his arm. Like his arm flexing, like he's about to, like he's trying to start a lawnmower.
Yeah. So the Elite hit the German super kick to Silver, then a super kick onto a brainbuster from the knee to Cole. Grayson breaks it up. Matt Jackson goes for a super kick on Grayson. He ducks, hits the ref. Matt hits a low blow on Grayson. Then the Elite hit a triple low blow on the Dark Order. And then I love the use of props at the end of this match. The Elite take out, they first hit like a back splash with the proton on the members of the Dark Order.
Yeah.
Then they power bomb Colt Cabana on a stack of proton packs.
Yep.
Which, by the way, I don't care if it's plastic. That shit hurts.
Oh yeah.
You ever stepped on a Lego?
Yeah, that did.
And the Bucks have done spots where in PWG where they have used Legos instead of actual thumbtacks, where people are like, "You sick fucks, that hurts even more."
Yeah. So, someone in a Stay Puft Marshmallow Man costume comes out to the ring.
No, he was already with them. You mean like someone in the horse outfit? Yeah, the horse costume.
So the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man guy gets into the ring from the outside. He's already there with him, but he jumps in the ring.
Yeah.
And then out comes out the guy in the horse costume. We think it's another member of the Dark Order, but it's revealed to be Brendan Cutler with tape on his mouth. He has been abducted, ladies and gentlemen.
But I love how the whole reveal was. Like first they take down Five and
destroy him.
Oh my god. Low blow, then the quadruple BTE trigger, and then you just see Buck. Look, I mean you see Brandon and he's just oh god.
He's like, fuck you guys.
The reaction they do is great too. They're like, wait, what? Wait, we did that to him?
And then of course the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man costume guy is in the ring, and it's Hangman Adam Page to a huge fucking pop. Which the photo has been going around everywhere. I love just from here down is a Marshmallow Man costume, and you just see Adam Page's head just sticking out from it.
And he just looks furious.
He just looks so pissed to be in that costume.
And then he's
and he
continues to fight while he's still wearing it for a while.
Yes.
And when he's tearing off at least the top part, I like how when he's all getting a little amped up, his legs, he's still walking around.
He's still wobbling around with it.
But I love it though, because it's more like I don't give a shit if I'm wearing this. He's
like, I'm kicking all of your asses in a marshmallow suit.
He did what's the move called that he did?
Deadeye?
He did Deadeye in
the
Marshmallow
Man costume.
Yeah. And I like how with the Deadeye though, because first when he was doing that, of course he did that in Ring of Honor, but then when he seen it in AEW, I just couldn't see that as a good finisher because it requires a lot on the other wrestler to make it look like they land on their head. But I like how Kenny was able to do that to where it looked like it was just going to be he's dropping onto his knees, but then the moment he moves, I see a little bit, and I found a clip on YouTube to where I looked in slow motion. Kenny just, when Hangman, he pops up, Kenny just slides down
straight down.
Right where his head meets the waist, and then the knees come by. Hangman leans back to where it looks like he is sitting on Omega's face.
Yeah. So I love the Deadeye. I've always loved it, but it is one of those moves that doesn't work on a lot of people.
Yeah, you really need to. That's what bothers me with Deadeye. It needs to be booked in a way to where it is a final nail in the coffin. Not like with the
buckshot lariat.
Yeah,
can be done to any fucking body.
Yeah. But I did like how once he gets, and then of course afterwards he nailed it down. Kenny Silver gets in the ring. He instructs Silver to take out Matt. Silver does that beautifully executed helicopter Blue Thunder bomb, and they get that win, which was fantastic.
I love the fact that Silver got the win here, and the fact that
Silver's got to be a future champion at some point.
Yes.
Without a doubt. I really could see, even though he's already challenged for the TNT belt with Darby, but I do see him becoming a singles champion. If not, him and Reynolds can capture the tag belts.
Yeah.
Or whenever the trios belt happens, we can see. I can almost see any member of the Dark Order get the trios belt.
Yeah,
dude. I love John Silver, but freaking Stu Grayson might be my favorite member of the Dark Order. That dude came out dressed as Kratos, and he was going for the head.
Honestly, I can see almost every. It's so interchangeable. Like Uno, he has become one of the bright members of the Dark Order. Because at first he starts out. When we look at the Dark Order, that group has gone by so many quick improvised changes in their characters.
Yeah.
That if it was definitely not for those BTE sketch and the Bucks encouraging them to get over on BTE, they would have definitely once again fallen back into the shuffle. But because of the BTE sketches, their work with Brody, and seeing what they've done after Brody, their face turn and how they've changed their dynamic, including their mini implosion, it works so well with the Dark Order that if any of them ever challenges for a belt, either it be teams, trios, the singles belt, the big belt, or when they do introduce that trios belt, you cannot help but want to cheer for any of them to get.
Which actually goes to show why AEW, in my opinion, is one of the best wrestling companies today. Is because when the Dark Order started, I couldn't care less. Like I knew them as was it Super
Smash Brothers? Yeah, they had to change that name because they couldn't own it.
But I was just like, they're not really doing anything. But when they saw the crowd was starting to turn, then they were like, okay, let's make adjustments. They listen to fan feedback and they take that into consideration for everything they do. Hell, even pretty much scrapping an entire story arc they had with Brandy Rhodes at one point. The Nightmare Collective, Brandy came out and was like, you guys don't like it? Fine. We'll do something else.
Yeah, they squashed that thing fast. They cut that thing faster than Vince cuts a script within 24 hours.
Damn. All right, guys. So we're over an hour in, and we have not even talked about Rampage.
All right. Before we talk about Rampage, I do want to give my last thoughts on that Elite Dark Order match. I like how in the ending it ties up so many good storyline moments with Hangman's whole story of his self-confidence, not being able to get friends, and him at first being hesitant to join the Dark Order, and then having to leave, and then his exit out, and then him coming back. First, he doesn't immediately go to the Dark Order, but he does approach them last week on Dynamite and tells them, hey, this is the Elite. I may have some ideas to help you guys out. You see him not only help Dark Order get the win, but also he also gets some payback on the Elite. And then you see how the Dark Order, having just reformed, now Hangman celebrating in the ring with them. It's like the biggest feel-good moment. The only thing missing was them winning the championship. That's how good of a feel-good moment that was. So if Hangman is set to win at Full Gear, I'm expecting to be kind of like Lex Luger at SummerSlam when he beat Yokozuna by a countout. Everyone's just going to hold him above. No, AJ Styles when he won in that fatal 4-way.
Okay, I was about to say, you got to be careful because he did not win the title. He looked like it.
Yeah, I know. He didn't win it. That's why I changed it to AJ Styles in Impact when he won against RVD, Kurt Angle, and Sting for that belt. Like that kind of championship celebration.
Or like when Rhea Ripley beat Shayna Baszler for the NXT.
And all the crowd just got in.
Yes. Yeah. I kind of see it that way. Like it's gonna be a big feel-good moment. Okay, now I'm done. We can talk about Rampage.
Well, hold on. One more thing about this match.
Good.
You do think that they have to pull the trigger with Paige at Full Gear, right? I cannot see Omega winning that match.
That's the thing. We know the destination, but it's gonna be the story. Because at first it was supposed to be Hangman at All Out, but he had to step away because his wife was she was going into labor.
Yeah.
But I did like the story they did with Christian though, And I liked what they did with Christian. He wins the Impact belt off of Kenny, so you could almost imagine him doing it again. And even though most people knew Kenny was going to win, I still liked how he won, how he used an Avalanche One-Wing Angel in order to get that victory.
Sick.
Yeah. And the fact that Christian, his age, was able to take that bump.
By the way, I always make this joke, but Christian has one thing on Edge. He won a world title way before Edge did when he returned.
Yeah.
This is that's the only thing I have on you, but I will take it.
It's true.
All right, so let's go ahead and Rampage from 10/29/21. We open up with a banger, a round one
the
World Championship Eliminator match. There we go.
Semifinals, yeah.
Bryan Danielson taking on Eddie Kingston.
Ooh.
This match
I love the shots that Danielson was taking at Kingston during the promos, being like, you're lazy, you don't have it, blah blah blah, and then Kingston just fucking shows him, nah, I still have it. And the match just starts off with both of them just trading the fuck with chops back and forth.
Man, Bryan Danielson's chest is at the point where it's like it's almost permanently like that, because every match he has that ends up being what his chest looks like.
It looked like what was it, the Greatest Royal Rumble?
Yeah.
Where it's just like red and bruised and just fucking gnarly looking.
Leave Danielson's chest alone.
Honestly, I don't think he has I think it's clear he kind of wanted it that way, because you see those chests immediately. He just, after another chop into the corner, he just flips off Kingston to where he gives him even more chops to the chest. Like this Bryan, he looks so fucking happy doing this kind of wrestling.
Yeah,
and you do see that with Kingston, how he not only was a fire lit under him, but he's just more of you're just gonna say I'm not passionate. And I like that exchange between the two of them on Dynamite, where Kingston says, hey, I get up in the morning, I deal with depression, I deal with a little manic bipolarism, and then also it leads to my anger. And you even see in his entrance, he just comes out, takes off his chain, gives it to a ring, gives it somebody by the ring, and then just gets in there and gets the.
He looked like an MMA fighter. He was just ready to fight.
Yeah.
So let's see. Yeah, as I said, Danielson's chest is purple and beet red as Kingston gets in the corner, unleashes more chops, and bites his head. What is it with him and Moxley wanting to take chunks out of people's heads?
Yeah.
It feels like something they did in the Independence. I mean, especially with Moxley being part of the CZW, and then now with GCW, and then Kingston with Chakra Wrestling, and of course their experiences wrestling with New Japan guys. I mean, hell, when in Moxley versus Suzuki did the same damn thing to where he's biting him on the head.
There's your faction name, the Cannibal Connection.
The Cannibal Connection. Oh my god!
I can see that's one of the names thrown out about those two men.
Yeah. So coming out of picture, Danielson tries to fight back, but Kingston pokes him in the eyes. Danielson tries to make a comeback and tries to hit a running knee. The outside, but Kingston just punches him right in the face.
Yeah.
he just punches him.
Nothing fancy. He just
nah. He's literally no flips, just fist.
Yeah.
Exactly. It's just it does go back to what Daniel and what Bryan is trying to do. He just wants to fight. And I did like in one earlier in the part of the match where Bryan has made his comeback, and then he gets Kingston down to where he's going to do that running knee. Kingston just stops dead in his tracks on the ground, and then Bryan just goes, all right, I'm just going to kick you then.
Yeah, I'm just going to kick you in the face then.
And God, those back and forth. When they were down, I liked how first they were on the ground, exchanging forearms back and forth, and then they get up. They're just let's keep going. Bryan kicks him. He does a chop. Bryan kicks, chop, kick. He goes for another chop. Bryan blocks it, but then Huracan back fist. God,
that back fist was gnarly.
Yeah, so I have it here. It was an Enziguri, or
he blocks the Enziguri.
Misses the Enziguri.
Yeah.
Danielson hits a rolling elbow, and Kingston hits. How do you say it?
The Huracan back fist. Yeah.
Yeah. The
Huracan. Yeah. Huracan.
Yeah. But one thing I love about this, is one is great storytelling in the ring. Is Kingston is completely out on his feet when he hit that back fist.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's the only thing that stopped him from not pinning Danielson right then and getting the win. Is that he was just exhausted.
Yeah. Took a lot out of him.
Yeah, so Kingston crawls over for the cover, but gets caught in a triangle choke. And I love this. While he's locked in the triangle choke, he just flips off Danielson and is like,
That was
fuck
great.
you, I'm not tapping. And he
That was
passes out.
That I could not book that in even better. That
was
it's not only to protect Kingston, but it's a way to show his toughness and his new turn of attitude. That especially thinking back to Bryan's match against Dustin, Dustin would not stop until Bryan had knocked him out completely cold to where he was bleeding on the floor. So I like that with Bryan's matches in this tournament. We are seeing Bryan just not want to go for the tapping. He wants to make sure that you don't have the energy to get back up.
But also that plus, I mean, it shows that with Dustin, he had to go to extreme amounts to beat him. That shows the toughness of Dustin Rhodes. That not a lot of people still see, even though the dude apparently found the fountain of youth somewhere and is not sharing it.
Yeah. I mean, his body-wise, though, yeah, he's still able to move. Being 50, being in his 50s, he still moves like he's a wrestler like during the WCW days in his 20s and 30s.
Yeah, exactly. And it shows the toughness of Kingston being like, also just, Kingston being a New Yorker being like, no, fuck you, I'm not tapping.
Yeah, I'm not
no
giving you the
what
satisfaction.
you do to me.
And I liked how when he gave that middle finger, Bryan's like, okay, elbow,
I'm gonna lock it in tighter.
Elbow, and then back into the choke.
By the way, and they keep bringing this up on commentary, love the fact that Danielson's, like, out of every one of his matches he's won, it's always been a different maneuver.
Yeah.
He has not used the same move twice to beat anybody.
Yeah, he's used the knee, he's used cattle mutilation.
Yeah, cattle mutilation, knee, the triangle choke, the Danielson special, the tripping armbar. And
he's even pulled the label block. He's even pulled the label lock as well.
Yeah.
Has he won a match with the label lock? Who'd he beat with that?
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember if
because I know he had it in on Omega, and he like.
Oh yeah, that was one of the matches to where he got to it.
I thought he won it with Dustin.
Oh.
I thought he beat Dustin with it.
I'll need to relook at the end of that match.
Maybe.
All right, so we move on to. Man, this was a great match, too. Matt Sydal versus Dante Martin 3.
Ooh.
Love the use of Lio Rush in the corner. Really feeling like a coach for Dante.
I cannot express how much I fucking love Lio Rush. And then even, like, the more I learn about him, like, the reason he had heat backstage nudity was because, was he, like, a dick? Was he rude? No. He fucking stood up for himself and didn't give in to their bullshit hazing and refused to carry their bags and stuff.
Yeah. I love learning about that shit. I love that. I liked how they're like, oh, this is how we did it back in our day. I'm like, well, I'm not living in your fucking generation. I'm living.
Yeah, this is not the 60s where some fucking young boy has to, carry the bags and do shit for the wrestlers.
Yeah.
Well, even then,
fucking wrestlers' court.
Yeah. Like that's it. I mean, at least the way that how WWE would do it. I know in New Japan, even though they had young boys, but at least with New Japan,
they treat them with respect.
They treat not with respect, but they treat it like a legitimate fucking sport. To where the young boys, even though you're training, you're like the bottom of the barrel, but still you have the respect for being in the business. But when you're in America and that shit happens, like nope, you're just under my boot until we think you've made it. And that's why.
And at least in Japan, where they do it, as you said, they do treat them with respect. But they're also, you don't have to pay any money to train at the dojo. You work for your training, and then you take that and you build other stars with that through the young boy initiatives.
Exactly. Unfortunately, that's not how it is there.
No. So let's get into this match. Dante hits a head scissors to Sydal, face first into the turnbuckle. every single time I see Dante Martin in a match, I become more and more of a fan of his.
Yeah.
And that's because his uniqueness in the ring of being able to do different moves but adding his own spin to him. His springboard dropkick, and I keep mentioning this every time he's in the ring, I feel like he's going to touch the ceiling. He gets so much height on that dropkick.
Or at least the way he does it, kind of like when he delays
It's just a shotgun.
Yeah, the shotgun, the way he does it, I'm thinking, man, if he's not careful, he can break his tailbone the way he lands.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, so let's see. He then, hit the springboard dropkick and then a moonsault to the outside, laying on his feet. We get back from picture in picture. Dante hits an enziguri. Seidel hits a thrust kick to the face, and then a running knee strike in the corner. Then a standing twist press. And then a standing twist press for a close kick out. So Dante fights back with 3 elbow strikes and a beautiful sunset flip. Sunset flip power bomb, I should say.
Yeah.
Where he does like almost like the swanton bomb into the pin for a close kick out.
It's been. I mean, most of the moves I can't shoot out the top of my head, honestly. But yeah. The combinations they were doing together. I mean, hell, Matt's like, I would have loved to have seen the tag match between the Seidel brothers and Lio Rush and Dante Martin. But
yes.
I don't. But and as unfortunate as Mike, it sucks too because Mike and Matt were wrestling on the Jericho Cruise I was on just this past weekend. So to hear that he got himself hurt was really heartbreaking.
Yeah. So let's see.
You just love rubbing in our faces that you were on the Jericho.
Well, they're doing another one this next March, so if you guys want to sign up, go for it.
Crazy.
Sadly, I don't think I'll be able to make it.
Well, it's happening during. They're going to be at sea for the 14th to the 18th around spring break and St. Patrick's Day. So
where does it dock off at?
Well, it's mainly around the Bahamas, like the island.
No,
area.
I mean like to see, like to get on the cruise to begin with. Like, what city does it?
Oh, Miami.
Is it Miami? Okay.
Yeah, they
opposite side of the country that I'm on.
Yeah,
I might be able to make it then, because it's only like a 10-hour drive from here to Miami. So
no, 10-hour drive. I've met people on the cruise who drove from Canada to get to Miami because they didn't want to pay
shit.
Because they didn't want to. They leave a week early to get to Miami, and I'm like, guys, that's so much more passion than I do. Where I will just do an overnight flight.
Yeah. All right. So Dante blocks the lightning spiral into a cutter, and then hits a double springboard moonsault for the win. And
that double moonsault, though, I have to say, I did not think that could be a finisher, but the way they do it with Dante, I really can't see that. Yeah,
I'm big on like finishers, and when a finisher isn't good, it annoys me. And I feel like most people doing that springboard moonsault, I wouldn't buy as a finisher, but like the way Dante does it is like, okay, yeah, that makes sense. That's a match ender.
And the fact that like people kind of like run into it as well.
Yeah,
I thought he was good. I thought Matt was going to kick out, but the fact he made no movements on that 3, I'm going, holy shit. Not only does Dante win clean, but he wins through Leo's guidance, and Leo didn't even need to get himself involved too, which is even smarter.
Which I love because they're not turning Dante heel. They're just like, let's use Lio Rush as a mouthpiece because we're not sure how his promo work is yet.
It's
you give him a mouthpiece to work with him.
It's not that good yet because right now when Dante talks, he's still talking like in his natural voice. Because when you get good at promos, you start getting lighter with your tongue and your jaw because you're able to just start spitting out like zingers, or you're able to at least get out your emotions in your heart. Because like best examples, the one thing I love watching these wrestlers in their vlogs, you see how they talk normal when they hit just near camera, but then once you see them get on promos, it's completely different.
They can turn it on.
Like Kingston is the best example for how someone can shoot a promo. Like you see him, like he'll be on Sammy's vlog or Allie's vlog or Ethan Page's vlog, just talking, like hanging back. Like you'll hear the New York accent, like thick. But once he's on that promo, you see his cadence change. He drops certain words, or he spends more time enunciating to get his point across.
He'll like draw out the most important words of that promo. That way, whatever, because really a promo is to sell something, whether it's a match, an event, and when you can learn to stretch out the important words, that's when you can really catch people's attention.
Yeah, I think the pairing of Lio Rush and Dante Martin is an absolute stroke of genius. I'm very excited to see where this goes, and I think that Dante can definitely learn a lot from Leo, both in kayfabe and out of kayfabe.
Oh, without a doubt. And dude, I love the fact that I'm not trying to sound mean, but when Dante's brother went out,
very dramatic pause.
Yeah. That was so dramatic, right? When you said that, Hunter. It was like you were on Dante's brother and then you paused.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, yes. We can hear you now. You're back.
Okay. So as I was saying, when his brother got injured, it was probably the best thing to happen to Dante's career because he then had to work harder to not get lost in the shuffle.
Yeah.
And really elevate his career. So now I think Dante Martin could be a TNT champion one day.
Yeah, I can definitely see him challenge for him, and I could see. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm interrupting you, Cody. Go ahead, Kirby.
No, I just said for sure. I was just agreeing.
Like him, I think him and Sandy can really put together a fucking great match.
Oh hell yeah! Dante versus Sammy.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, I think you cut out and then came back in again.
Why does this keep happening?
Anyway.
I've been on that side too. Hunter, to where I think I'm having a good point coming across. Then all of a sudden, I see my screen get that circle of death. I'm like, you motherfucker.
All right, so let's move on to our main event, the Trick or Treat.
We forgot to mention after, before that match, Punk was getting interviewed by Tony Schiavone, and just like right when he's talking about. Eddie Kingston just comes out like pissed off. And he's like, "What's so funny?" Like he's yelling, like, "What are you laughing at?" And then he just smacks that microphone out of Tony's hand. Like he's being fucking business. I mean, I referenced Eddie Kingston and Punk obviously during our Dynamite talk, but seeing how we're getting like Punk and Eddie, even without a microphone, they're just getting into it with each other. I love that. And then you see so many people trying to break them up. Like I see Jerry Lynn in the back. Ruby's walking.
Ruby Soho is there.
Yeah, and then all the officials are just walking up and like, "Calm down, Eddie." And then Punk's just going, "Yeah, I'm having." Like, "Yeah, I'm smiling, I'm laughing." Like you're unprofessional. Like Punk is just like throwing words at Eddie as if he lost his respect.
Punk had one of the greatest comeback lines of all time. With, "Do you want to go to sleep again? Because I just saw what happened."
Yeah.
And I like Kingston yelling like, "Why'd you ring the bell?" Like refusing to acknowledge that he passed out. He's like, "No, I could have still kept going. I wasn't done yet."
You're talking to the wrong person about that.
Punk can't do anything.
I know. But I like that little confrontation because immediately we got Punk's next match.
Yeah.
I would kind of like to see this at Full Gear, but I'm pretty sure this is going to be a Rampage or a Dynamite match.
Yeah.
Probably,
so,
yeah.
Again, going on to the Punk. Did I pause again?
You're
just a slight pause, but you're back.
All right. I love what Punk is doing because it doesn't feel like he's going to do, 3 or 4 month long storylines. I like the idea that he's working with younger guys and doing it at a rapid pace to get them over.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because take someone like, Eddie Kingston. He is a veteran, but not a lot of people knew who Eddie Kingston was before he was in AEW. Right. And that's sad.
President the company accounted for. I knew nothing about Kingston until he showed up, and then I found his chakra matches. But then I didn't realize. I remember seeing him briefly on Impact.
He was in Impact because he was with Santana and Ortiz.
Yes, and even then
they were doing a LAX feud. It was Santana Ortiz versus Homicide Hernandez.
New LAX versus the old guard. Yeah. Yeah. But even then, he also had himself a brief stint when he was partnered with James Storm when they were doing that DCC angle to the feud with the Hardys when they were there.
Yeah, that's right. So, for Punk to be like, I want to work with Eddie Kingston. and I want to work with Bobby Fish and Darby Allin, and just
Powerhouse Hobbs.
Powerhouse Hobbs, Daniel Garcia.
Yeah.
He wants to work with younger guys because he wants to put them over. Even if they lose, they got a match with CM Punk.
And the way they lose too also says a lot, because against Darby Allin, Darby loses when Punk just Punk plays the veteran, and then he ends up taking advantage of moments where Darby ends up getting a little cocky. And then with Daniel Garcia is like, yeah, I'm a younger you, but he's still very headstrong enough to where unfortunately, he makes one mistake. Punk capitalized by putting him in the anaconda device to make him tap. Then we got Powerhouse Hobbs, where Hobbs relied alone on his strength and power, but underestimated Punk's tactical and striking ability.
And also Hook.
Yes.
Yeah, using the distraction from Hook to capitalize again, showing the veteran idea behind it.
And then his match against Bobby Fish, we saw where Bobby Fish was more focused on trying to punish Punk, and Punk made him realize that you should not have been working. You should not focus so hard on injuring my knee, because he uses that same knee to use the go to sleep on, which I have to say, even though, yeah, his knee hurts, but I like how in storyline wise, it just makes the hit even harder, because he's adrenaline's going through him, so he won't feel it when he uses it.
Yeah. All right, so let's move on to our main event. The Trick or Treat match, Britt Baker taking on Abaddon, and that
pre-interview with Mark Henry was just fun.
It's amazing. I love when Mark Henry was just like, guys, Abaddon, like, she's gone, and Britt Baker's like, where the fuck is she? Where'd she go?
Mark Henry just conducting the interview so matter of fact, completely unfazed by all of Abaddon's bullshit.
Abaddon doing the blood thing at the interview, and then Mark Henry was like, she doesn't have a lot to say, folks.
Yeah, I know. Not like how it's so how the other guys would be like, is that normal? Mark's just, yeah, okay.
Mark's like, yep. All right, let's go.
Another fucking Friday. All right, let's go.
Here at AEW.
I work at I work at a haunt in Balboa Park in San Diego called the Haunted Trail. And so
I used to actually work there. In
San Diego?
Yeah, I'm in San Diego.
Wait, you live in San Diego?
Yes.
Oh, that's crazy. I didn't know that. I also live in San Diego. You used to work when did you work the Haunted Trail?
Between 2013 to 2015.
Oh, that's badass.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I worked my last night. So seeing Abaddon, very very reminiscent of the things we do as scare actors, and to use that as a wrestling gimmick, I think is pretty fucking awesome.
So Kirby, I'm not sure, because you are kind of new to AEW. Have you seen Abaddon before?
So here's the funny thing. I think I told you this story. The moment that really made me like want to watch AEW before All Out, before CM Punk, I was just scrolling through YouTube, and I happened upon a video of her Allie something. She's known as the Bunny in AEW.
Oh yeah, Allie. Yeah, that's her wrestling name. Yeah, Allie.
Yeah, she's got a YouTube channel, and one of the things she does on this channel is she reviews Oreos.
Yes, I love it when she does that.
An Oreo review video with Abaddon, who remained in character the whole video. And I was all like, this is fucking awesome. And I was like, I need to watch AEW right now.
Another great video.
That was my introduction to Abaddon.
I fucking love that.
There's also another AEW video, I believe, with it was kind of like a pre-interview, an interview video. I believe it's Outside the Ropes with Lexi Nair. She had I believe she also had Abaddon on there, and every time she was just throwing questions to her, Abaddon would just be in character, and they'd have this ominous music play behind her. And I love that back when they were ending it, they're just like, Abaddon, is there anything you want to say to the viewers? And then Abaddon turns the camera, and when she opens her mouth, just a little bit of blood comes out. And then the interview just goes, okay, great, I'm glad to have you on. And then Abaddon just slowly gets off the chair, just going towards her. She's like, can we cut? Is that it?
By the way, love the fact that Britt has Jamie and Rebel dressed as zombies.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
I love the line of, I think it was Jericho, who's like, they're dressed as zombies. Abaddon's a
real
zombie.
zombie.
I know.
I love how excited Jericho gets about commentary. Where he's like, this is the greatest thing ever. She's an actual zombie.
I love how in kayfabe, Abaddon is in fact a real zombie.
I mean, her nickname is the Living Dead Girl.
Yeah.
But I love it that they not only that she's living that gimmick. I mean, sure, everyone's like, oh, once it's over, she's gone. The gimmick's gone. And not to rub it in your faces again, guys, but she too was also on the Jericho cruise. She walked around every day in makeup with whatever hairstyle she had.
That's amazing.
Believe me, she did not break character one bit.
Oh, she's the fucking best. That's so cool.
Love the fact I love when wrestlers don't break character even outside, and that's why again I love MJF. I love to hate MJF because even when he's doing interviews where he doesn't have to be character, he is just the most utterly piece of shit.
Yeah. Remember when Undertaker never broke character and then he did and we're like, oh, he's a dick. That sucks.
Yeah.
I miss not knowing anything about him.
Apparently, if you play video games, you're a sissy, according to Taker.
Yeah, you don't have guns and knives in your bags. You're a bitch boy. Yeah.
Yeah. Like the first time he breaks character is for a country singer, and I'm just going like, wait, what the fuck?
And then he's got his like documentary, and it's got like a Blue Lives Matter shirt, and it's like, oh no.
Yeah, I saw that shit too, and I was like, oh fuck.
You just lost 60% of your fan base. Maybe. I don't know. I don't know what his fan base is, but I'm like,
I'm his fan base. Undertaker was my favorite wrestler for so long.
Yeah.
It was just like one of those situations where when wrestlers finally step out of character and they start showing their real selves, we're going, can we just get your character back? I prefer The Undertaker.
Like, was anyone wrestling in the 90s besides Mick Foley not a dick?
I mean, Shawn Michaels was a dick, and now I don't think he's a dick, but...
I think maybe Terry Funk, but he was a dick for a
Terry
reason.
Funk's the fucking man.
No, I don't mean Terry Funk was like a complete dick, but if he was a dick,
I'm just saying, like seeing his interview on Dark Side of the Ring, talking about Onita, he just like the interview asked him, "Is there one thing you want to tell to Onita?" He just does.
Man, Dark Side of the Ring. That's another one. When Tommy Dreamer went on Dark Side of the Ring.
Oh, fuck Tommy Dreamer, man.
And he just, like, for no reason, he just ruined his reputation.
He just victim blames the entire time.
I will say on both sides, one, the way it was structured made Tommy Dreamer look like an asshole. But then at the same time, he's talking, he's like, yeah. I mean, he never really blamed the victim, though. He just talked about, like, from Ric Flair, like, from what I knew of Ric Flair, he would not do anything. He was always a class gentleman.
I mean, he did victim blame where he was like, I mean, she took the money,
and also he says that like everyone like gets offended, blah blah. She wasn't offended; she was assaulted. What the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah, look, I understand that. That's why the way it was structured on that Dark Side of the Ring, I'm going like, man, I would love to see this uncut. Like, give me the full interview of what Tommy Dreamer actually said. Like, was there more he said? If that was all he did say, then I'm like, yeah. Complete asshole. He unfortunately then the way, but I do like I appreciate watching Dark Side of the Ring, but like everything else, it's an edited down product where not everyone's gonna have their full words out.
I just find it. I don't know what I don't know what the full sentence could have been
where that was kept in.
Yeah, where that made that statement seem like anything other than just complete horseshit.
I mean, I'm not trying to take away the consequences of what he said, though, but it's just kind of like, because especially going with WWE, though, whenever they do their little documentaries or their 24 stuff or their DVDs, they always like to have a certain narrative, but then all of a sudden they'll put out another DVD constructing a different narrative.
Yeah,
So,
for sure.
The Ultimate Warriors DVDs.
yeah, or the WCW DVD, like Rise and Fall of WCW, the self-destruction of the Ultimate Warrior. Then he dies, and then you have the same people who talk shit about him now saying good things. I'm like, give me a break.
Yeah.
All right, so let's get into the actual match.
Yeah. I will say it was not a very short match, but it was definitely like only within like they had 12 minutes of TV time, and they were able to do this within half of it. But I still appreciate how they told that story. Like Britt wanted to be in and out, get it over with.
But
That's why I like the no DQ
This is the one time
thing.
where I'm okay with a women's match going shorter because it didn't need to be, Thunder Rosa and Britt level of match.
Yeah,
Because,
I mean, and they talked about how like Abaddon's matches are historically short because she comes in and just kills them and then walks away. And like you said,
does she kill him? We don't know.
Right? I mean, her only longest,
but
the only
it's
longest
like
match she had in AEW was against Sheeta for the championship. That was her only longest match. Everything else has been,
and that's her only loss on her record is against Sheeta.
Yeah. And
until
it's like
now.
you said, like with Britt Baker's perspective, like she doesn't want to be in that ring with Abaddon for a long time. She wants to,
and we see why.
As quick as possible. Yeah, exactly.
So I do have some notes. So we get back from break, and Abaddon hits a senton splash with a chair on Britt's chest. Britt hits a flatliner on Abaddon to the chair sitting in the corner. Britt and Abaddon try to go through a table with a swing neck breaker, but the table does not break.
I am the table.
I was taking it too.
I am the table.
And then Britt tries to do a suplex on the table, but it still doesn't break. But then I love this. Britt's down, and then Abaddon does her best Undertaker impression and just sits up.
Oh yeah.
Where we go?
I think moving on. I know Abaddon. She starts getting some licks in on Britt.
So Abaddon throws Britt in the ring and gets out the thumbtacks and hits the Yugonari on Britt's attacks, which I do not want to take that bump.
Britt's reaction, she sold the look on those thumbtacks, though.
What do you mean
this
sold?
is her second Yugonari through thumbtacks.
No, when she poured the thumbtacks,
bro.
I mean, when she poured the thumbtacks, Britt had that horrified look on her face. And I loved how the announcer was saying PTSD from her match against Thunder Rosa.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Yeah.
So let's see. Britt puts Abaddon's head in the chair and hits a curb stomp, which looked fucking sick.
Yeah.
Like her head was in the chair and then just fucking curb stomp. And I love this moment. This made me pop huge. When Abaddon just fucking got up and was just like, she fucking no-sold that shit.
And
I was like, man, she's already dead.
It looked brutal too because, like, with most curb stomps, you could see how they do it safely. But this one, it looks like she went right foot first and like actually stepped on her neck, and then like Abaddon gets right back. Like the chair even like breaks, I think.
Yeah. So then I have Britt puts the tacks in the mouth of Abaddon, and super kicks her. This spot always scares the fuck out of me because you have to take a kick and then blow out the tacks. If you don't and you suck in, you're taking tacks in your body.
Yeah.
Or if you do breathe in, or if you do get super kicked and you accidentally bring your jaw shut, you'll have some tacks stuck. Like some tacks might actually get stuck
there
to your
is
gums.
So much that has to go into that move.
Yeah.
To make it look good.
And then like Abaddon, she did the thing earlier where the blood came from her mouth, so it was hard to tell what was real blood and what was fake in her mouth.
Yeah, did she spit out more blood, or is it just that same blood there that just has some more extra layers? Yeah. And I even liked how that didn't finish her off at first. Like Abaddon, she gets right back up. It finally takes Jamie Hayter coming on in doing that double axe.
I love this spot here because Abaddon still has the tacks in her mouth, and Britt goes for the lockjaw with the glove. But she realizes that Abaddon still has the tacks in her mouth. And Abaddon, to break out of lockjaw, just bites down on Britt's hand with the teeth and the tacks at the same time. I have never seen that done before.
Yeah, that was fucking great. That's the thing. Like, this match is so short, but it's so dense. There's so much happening. Like,
Yeah, and this goes to show that you don't need a 30-minute match. You can do a 6-minute match, but have so many great spots in there.
Yeah, because it's like once Baker did the curb stomp with the chair, I looked at how much time on the show was left, and I was like, oh, that's probably it, the end of the match. And then like 3 more spots happen after that before the show goes off the air.
And then you had Hayter and Rebel. So Hayter hits her from behind, hits Abaddon from behind. Rebel fucking takes a bite and gets thumbtacks right on her face.
Oh yeah, and I like how when that's done, you see Rebel. She's just like
she's still holding her neck and stuff.
Yeah,
she looks like she got her throat ripped out.
Yeah, and then during the distraction, Britt rolls up Abaddon in the thumbtacks to win. I love the use of old school wrestling hold, but on thumbtacks.
Yeah, it's got to be fucking scary to be a referee in that position.
No shit, you gotta like.
Yeah, make sure you don't slam the thumbtacks on the ring. Yeah,
and even Baker, like, I think her knees and her hand got thumbtacks on them too, because she had to roll her up, and her knees and stuff got caught.
Yeah, probably.
All right, guys. So I think that's pretty much it.
Yeah.
Great couple shows.
Definitely, we had a lot to talk about, and we are almost at 2 hours. One of our longest shows.
I mean, when you have 3 people on, I guess that makes sense.
We need to get Mr. Ryan back on for another show, sometime soon.
For sure.
I mean, I would definitely love to come back on, guys. I mean, I'll definitely keep I'll try to wind back on some of my talking. It's just with both of these shows, there were so many good story beats and elements in here where it's like, it's hard to ignore it. I mean, sure, some of them may look like they may not pay off, but I like how there was a mixture of setup and payoffs where you set up one storyline or you're continuing the story beats of another one, but you're actually also paying off another story that you think might need to be closed for right now before you reopen it later.
Yep. And dude, like, I created the show for us to have discussions. So talk as much as you want, because I'm always willing to engage with everybody. I think that's it. Kirby, where can you find you online?
Kirby French on most things, and also sometimes I do trivia stuff. I haven't had a match in a while, but I know I've got one coming up in good old TMG tournament, coming for that belt, Ryan.
Uh-oh.
Well,
Mr. Ryan Payne, where people find you online?
Well, people can definitely find me if you're a fan of movie trivia. I am participating. I'm also, like Kirby, participating in trivia matches. Not as frequent as I was for the past 3 months, though, but I still got a couple of matches coming up. They'll be released soon. I'll try to share them, or at least spread the word. I'm not much of a big fan of spreading about matches I played in because sometimes I'm just not a fan of how they turned out to be. But other than that, I do also have a wrestling podcast as well that I co-host with my friend James Shimo and our third co-host Brenton McPherson. It's called Wrestling Rambles or Ramblings and Rages Podcast. It's available on audio on Spotify, Podbean, Apple, and Anchor. We're just getting the show back up and running. We mainly have had that show done when we did predictions for pay-per-views or pay-per-view recaps, but we at least have our 2 freshest episodes we did. We did talk about the return of CM Punk and also, I believe, All Out a little bit. So are the Rampage and Dynamite before All Out? It's been a while, but we are going to record new episodes so where we can stay up to date, or at least we'll have wrestling open chat discussions. So check that show out.
Definitely. And I saw today on the channel, you are the new #1 contender for the Nerdum Championship.
That's right. That is correct.
Stand.
Yeah, it's been a while. I think after that match, I'm just going oh, can I rest? Oh wait, I got another match coming up. So
you got a title match.
Back to the books.
At the Last Stand. All right, guys. So if you did enjoy this, hit that like button, subscribe to Nerd Entertainment Network down below. Thank you guys for watching. We'll see you.